Grace and peace, beloved. Grace and peace. Happy Tuesday to you. Happy Tuesday. The Lord bless you. Come on in. Come on in. I am so delighted to be hosting you today. It's a great day. We are a little ahead of the storm, and so I'm glad about that. Hope the signal is able to be received where you are. We don't really have any rain going on here right now, but we know there is going to be some rain coming through. I think we're far enough inland. Might not be a storm, but it's going to be some rain, and so that's going to be in. So we're hoping that doesn't bring any interference where you are in your area. Come on in. Let me greet you. I'm excited today about our coming together. We're in another week. The Lord has blessed us to see another week. So welcome to Wisdom for Living. All right, bless you. Pastor Lisa Freeman, God bless you. I got your notation, and we are on time and ready to go forward with this amazing topic today, with this amazing topic. So come on in. Elder Denise Baker, God bless you. Elder B, God bless you. Always glad to have our Wisdom for Living covenant partners on. We're excited about you. Excited about you. Hey, to our YouTube audience, welcome. We're delighted to have you. To my Facebook Live audience, you know I'm excited to have you on. So I'm going to take a few minutes and greet some of you all before we get into our teaching today. So welcome, Drew Russell. Drew Russell, how are you? God bless you. God bless you. Glad to have you on. Hey, May, my daughter's on. Grace and peace to you. God bless you. Grace and peace, beloved. Elder Carolyn Cubbage, God bless you. God bless you. Wow, this is going to be great. This is going to be great. Sharon Brooks, the Lord bless you. Hey, vulnerability. Is it safe out here? Come on. Let's like, tag, and share. What an amazing topic today to discuss. I can't wait to get engaged with you and get your interaction, get your feedback, and all those great things. Come on in. Let me put my thing on Do Not Disturb so I won't get interrupted that way. That's great. Kathleen Moore, bless you, Pastor Moore. God bless you. I so much love you. DMV is on. I have May on, Raleigh. Hey, Grand D, bless you. Grand D is on. Elder Wilder, God bless you. Glad to see you on, everybody. So do me a favor, put me on your networks. Let's get this message out. Let's have this conversation as widespread as we can. The way you do that is you welcome me into your networks by tagging, sharing, doing all those things you do. So when you tag, or share, if I'm not mistaken, it enables what I'm doing to also extend into the audience that usually gathers in and around your page, your timeline, all those things. And if you've got ways of doing that, I certainly appreciate it. And if there are ways you can think of that I may not be doing yet, let me know. We're YouTube, we're Facebook Live. I really want to go TikTok, but I don't know the length of time that you can be on TikTok. So just help me spread this in every way you can. I see one of my technical voices is on. Elder Lydia Chapman. Bless you, Lydia. God bless you. Glad to have you on right now. I saw somebody new too. Shanor, Minister Shanor is on. Bless you, Shanor. Margaret Love, grace and peace to you. Grace and peace to you. Yes, it expands when everyone shares their timeline. Yes. So on your timeline, mention that Wisdom for Living is on. And of course, this wonderful topic, vulnerable. Hey, is it safe out here or what? Is it safe out here or what? So let's have that discussion. All right. So thank you for tuning in. Thank you for your faithfulness and being a disciple of this particular broadcast, this telecast, this live, this YouTube, this Instagram, this TikTok, all those things. So let's have the conversation. I'm glad to have you. And to your family that you invited in, glad to have you. So as others come on, you may see me greet them or talk about them, especially if you're YouTubing. You may not be able to see that, but I am doing that. Now, this is interactive. So I am going to want both your feedback and any of your input. I'm able to see it. And as I'm seeing it, I can make sure that I respond to it. If you have a question or comment, feel free to make it so that we can move forward. All right. So we're going on into this now. Vulnerability. Let me begin with this. Is being vulnerable important? Is being vulnerable important? I made this statement, and I guess if you're looking for a scripture today, this is probably going to be the only one I jump from or jump into, and that's Psalms 91 and 1. He that dwelleth in the secret place of the Most High God shall abide under the shadow of the Almighty. He that dwelleth in the secret place shall abide under the shadow of the Almighty. That's probably the primary scripture reference. But this is going to be a very practical teaching today. I'm going to want your interaction. I'm going to want your thoughts. And I want you to share with me because this is a very, I want to say it's a sensitive topic. It's an important topic that we need to discuss. Hey, Kenneth Hicks, God bless you, man of God. God bless you. God bless you down there in South Carolina. God bless you, Evangelist Barbara Davis. Alabama is on. We're on all over the country. We're on globally. And I'm excited about that. So is being vulnerable important? Is being vulnerable important? Yes. Being vulnerable, I'm answering, but you all are welcome to give me your thoughts here too. Is being vulnerable important? Because I put the text out, I put the statement out there, vulnerability. Hey, is it safe out here? Why am I saying that? Because being able to be vulnerable is usually or generally considered a good thing. It can lead to deeper connections with others. It can increase our emotional resilience and give us, I would say, a more authentic life. So again, for me, being vulnerable can lead to a deeper connection with those that I'm around, my associates, because I'm able to be open with it. It also increases or adds to my emotional resilience, and urgently, I think it allows me to live a more authentic life. And I realize it's risky. I realize it's a high risk scenario. Because although being vulnerable allows me to be genuine in my communication, and it may even build or foster the trust that can lead to personal growth and stronger relationships and even spiritual growth. But while it can do all of that, it's also real risky because it can yield positive outcomes, but it also exposes me personally and interpersonally, which means if I'm that open, I also open myself up to the potentiality of being the most hurt. It's giving an access to whoever I'm dealing with in such a way where I'm actually giving them the access to be able to hurt me. And that's a part of it. That's the risk part. And some people shut up and they shut away and they become more recluse and more private. And that's more dangerous, I think, than practicing vulnerability. I think, and I don't know if you all agree with that. I think being introvert and being private and shutting yourself off, I think is more dangerous than the risk of being vulnerable. Oh, you understand that? I want to get your thoughts on that. Now, I've said something I really want to get your thoughts on. Knowing all of us said that vulnerability can do and yield, do you think the fact that there is a risk because you give people access to hurt you, is that risk worth taking because of the value and relevance and the need of being able to be vulnerable? Give me your overall thoughts on that. Bless you, Sherry Lay. Happy birthday to you. Sherry Lay, happy birthday. If y'all haven't met her, she's got the biggest smile. Biggest smile, just so much joy. I think every day is Sherry's birthday, the way she acts. But happy birthday to you, Sherry Lay. God bless you. Thank you, Pastor Kathleen and Elder Baker, for putting up the scripture, Psalms 91 and 1. Bless you, Elder Shamila. Glad to see you on, daughter. Hey, Shamila. God bless you. So this whole vulnerability piece, it's a big deal. What do you all think? Is it worth the risk? I mean, because the question is it safe out here? And That in itself lets you know that there is a risk factor with vulnerability. There's a risk factor that's crazy. Um, is it worth it? Is that risk worth it? Because it is a risk. So is that risk worth it? Give me a yes or no there. Just give me a yes or no. What do you think? Bless you, Elder Farrar. God bless you. Bless you, Tanis Carroll. God bless you. Glad to see y'all going. Do you think it's worth the risk? Okay. And I'm gonna give a second because I want you all to do it. Would you proceed? Would you proceed with caution as well? Um, would you proceed with caution? But even before I get to that, is it worth the risk? Yes or no? And then I'm gonna get into that statement. Marcus McLean said yes. Hey, Marcus, God bless your son. Yes, it's worth the risk. He said it's worth the risk. Somebody else, give me an answer. Is it worth the risk, knowing that being vulnerable makes you accessible to be hurt? It makes you open to be hurt. But knowing all the list of things that I said being vulnerable yields, is it worth that risk because you need to be vulnerable? Elder McLean said yes. Kathleen McCoy, Kathleen Moore says yes. Shamila says yes. Denise Baker says absolutely. Um, yes. Elder Farrar said yes, it's worth the risk. Shanor said yes, it's worth the risk. Evangelist Cubbage says yes. So I think overall, bless you, Andrea Hardy. God bless you, my dear sister. God bless you, prophetess, pastor. Yes, she says it's worth the risk. And I'm glad you all are saying that because it is. Being able to be vulnerable is a very, very, very important piece. And so I'm gonna give you a quote from Brene Brown in just a second because I think she says something really important about that. Let me do that first. Brene Brown has this quote that I want you all to hear. Brene Brown says, vulnerability is not winning or losing, but she said it's having the courage to show up and to be seen when we have no control over the outcome. End quote. Brene Brown says, and I quote, vulnerability is not winning or losing. It's having the courage to show up and to be seen when we have no control over the outcome, end quote. And I think that in a nutshell kind of wraps it up. And that's a quote from Brene Brown. That's Brene Brown, Brene Brown. And I think that quote is relevant. And I think because it is about having the courage to show up, understanding that you don't control the outcome, and it's a good shot that you're going to get an outcome that you really don't want. So let's get into this. Bless you, Apostle Bellard. Big facts. That definition of vulnerability is me, all in a nutshell. And I'm so glad so many of you are on. These are, and I'm glad to see what I want to say, elevated leaders on, because we have a really hard tasking at hey Shanae, at being able to be vulnerable. I didn't say we have a hard tasking at being vulnerable. We have a hard task at being able to be vulnerable because of how open it is. And our vulnerability sometimes puts in jeopardy our perspective, people's perspective of us as a leader. It's hard being an upper level person in regards to assignment and title, because when you're vulnerable, then you got to have people around you who can handle your vulnerability. So I think that's why Pastor Kathleen Moore said there's a caution factor involved, because I have to know how vulnerable to be. So let's move into that. Part of my objective is for us to understand the importance of vulnerability. Number one, the objective of our conversation today, understanding the importance of being able to be vulnerable. Number two, to recognize the benefits of being vulnerable. I'm gonna go into that. And perhaps probably third, to develop a mindset to help us embrace vulnerability in a personal and professional life. Personal and professional life. So again, number one, talk about the importance. Number two, I'm going to talk about the benefits. And then number three, I'm hoping to talk about getting our mind into the game of being vulnerable. All right. So the importance of vulnerability. Let me start right there. First, vulnerability is a form of courage. Vulnerability is a form of courage. Do you all agree with that? Does that make sense? It's a form of courage. It's challenging common perceptions that make vulnerability look like weakness. Vulnerability is not weakness. The perception of vulnerability is actually a strength. The importance of vulnerability. So there's some psychological things that come out of being vulnerable. Courage and strength. And that's it, courage and strength. Because it takes strength to be vulnerable. And I'm looking at Elder Farrell's comment. It takes strength to be vulnerable, but then it takes also courage. You got to be able to go out there because it challenges our common perceptions. So let's look at some psychological benefits. Vulnerability enhances emotional resilience. It does that by allowing us as individuals to confront. It allows individuals to confront and accept their feelings. It allows you to confront and accept your feelings. Man, that's why Apostle Bella, I think that's why it's so risky, it's so dangerous, because I'm opening myself up to confront and accept my feelings. So really, vulnerability has got as much to do with me as it does to do with your perception about my being vulnerable. Because when I become vulnerable, I confront maybe some things that I haven't been honest about. I made a statement the other day on Facebook. I said, when being diplomatic becomes a lie, then it's time to stop being diplomatic. Because diplomacy is often a cloak to cover. Diplomacy is often a cloak to cover not confronting or not addressing or not exposing my actual feelings, my real feelings. My real feelings are often behind the mask of diplomacy. And there are times that diplomacy is needed. It really are. Don't indict being diplomatic, because I think there are times when being diplomatic is critical, and we need to be and should be. And then there's times when we got to be able to open up and confront our real feelings, accept them, and pronounce them. It's the confidentiality with vulnerability that I personally battle with. Okay, that's a great statement. Let me say that right, because she said something that's really, she said, it's the confidentiality with vulnerability that I personally battle with. That's true, because when you're vulnerable with, here's the thing, when you're vulnerable with messy people, they take your vulnerability and make it like a cancer to you, because they take your vulnerability and use it as weaponry against you to try to kill you and destroy you. And that's a risk you take, because when you're vulnerable in front of messy people, they then get to plot and conspire to destroy you. And that's one of the challenges. The climate of those around you. Thank you, Shamil. I hope I got it right. Yeah. It's rough, because you want to be vulnerable, and it's really about you. You're confronting your feelings. You're dealing with your feelings and accepting, your emotions about it and confronting you. But because when you do that, you wind up pronouncing your truth. Now people are taking your vulnerability and turning it into like this. They're weaponizing it against you, and trying to slay you from your openness. And that's what makes it a risky adventure. It really does. But psychologically, I got to win that battle. I got to realize it's worth me being true to myself, even if that means you're going to try to take my truth and twist it. I still got to get it out. I got to get it out, because if I don't, I honestly commit a personal suicide day by day when I don't practice telling my truth, when I don't practice being able to be vulnerable. Only vulnerable with persons I trust to a certain degree. And that's often the case, Overseer. We're often left with only being vulnerable to people that we trust. And that's why, Pastor Moore, I got you. That's why you were saying earlier, that you got to do it with caution. The problem with sometimes, and I said, hey, is it safe out here? Here's the problem. The problem is, we gotta stop letting people put us in a prison. We gotta stop because I'm not always in a climate where I can trust it. But still, sometimes I gotta be vulnerable enough to confront and pronounce my truth and let the chips fall where they may. Because at the end of the day, I'm gonna be a healthier person. I said sometimes Sometimes, and you'll have that's why you need, the Bible says, if any man lack wisdom, let him ask of God who giveth it liberally and upbraideth not. Because I got to have wisdom. I got to be able to know when it's wise to do it. But I also got to be wise enough to know that I can't let people put me in a hostage position. Don't let people cause you to commit your own personal, financial, emotional, relational suicide because you haven't figured out that your vulnerability is more valuable than their opinion. Woo! Wow. There it is. There it is. My vulnerability is more important to me than your opinion about me in some instances. And I say it just like that. My vulnerability is more important to me than your opinion about me in certain instances. Certain instances, in certain cases, I need to guard your perception. Other instances, I got to realize and say, listen, chips fall where they may. This I need to say. This I need to confront so that I don't wind up dying while I'm trying to help you. If helping you is killing me, then I've got to do something different. Hey, is it safe out here? Is it safe out here? The truth is, safe out here is a subjective thought because, like I said, if helping you is killing me, man, I'm sorry, it's over. If when helping you is killing me, then I got to do something different. Does that make sense? When helping you is killing me, I've got to do something different. And that becomes the point. It's good. That's good. My vulnerability is more important than your opinion of me in certain situations. Absolutely. And that's what I want you to conclude. Because there's a psychological benefit to it. That's a psychological benefit. Now let's talk about let me talk about the social benefits because we keep talking about other people. And if you have comments, please put them in there. Give me your thoughts because I got some great thinkers on here. My vulnerability is better than others' opinions about me. Okay, I got it now. I don't think the world is ready for me. He said, and the world probably is not ready for you. But is the world ready to mourn you because you kept it in and now you in a box and they talk about how good you were when really my diplomacy led me to live a life of a lie and now I'm in a box stretched out in front of people, never told my truth. It was toxic to me. My pressure is up. My stress is up. All these things because I won't face and deal with my vulnerabilities. It's got to be more important. It's more. I'm worth more than me. I'm worth more to me than that. I'm worth more to me than your opinion about me. Because you don't get to determine my value, my relevance, my importance, or my health. It doesn't, whether you're a doctor, if you're a lawyer, if you're a pastor, if you're a teacher, if you're a cashier, if you're a manager, your health has got to be more important to you. Your emotional health, your physical health, your spiritual health has got to be more important than people's opinions about you. And my vulnerability is a part of that. Let me determine when in wisdom I need to temper my vulnerability. But I can't let you keep control of that. I can't let you decide when it's good for me to be vulnerable. I got to make sure I'm staying true to me at the end of the day. Woo, great God. This is indeed a deep dive discussion because I want you to see this. And that's not an attitude. Let me help you. Let me help you because we get too attitudinal about stuff. Tell him, Apostle, that's what I'm talking about. Bump all that. This ain't about your attitude. This is about your balanced consciousness about here's what I need to do to be the best me. In order to be the best me, I've got to reckon with, deal with, and decide how I navigate my vulnerability. I need to answer that beyond my next question, beyond my next statement. He said, now this is holy convocation. Yes, this is me being me, Apostle. I'm telling you, the Holy Convocation 2025. Now, yes, because the vulnerability. So there's so many people, and I'll say this because I got church people on here. Let me say this to you. And not everybody that listens to me is a big church person. Some people listen to me who really, honestly, they like the practicality of life. Here's the thing. We got to stop faking. We got to stop faking the fire in the name of being diplomatic, in the name of being spiritual, in the name of being Christ-like. because Christ was probably the most vulnerable person I ever saw. Talk about truth. He would tell you the truth. He would tell you the straight up truth. How you gonna heal people on the Sabbath? What, would you rather this man stay sick? Is it about a day, or is it about a change? Because if he needs to change, who cares if it's the Sabbath? You judging me about the Sabbath, and I'm telling this man, you know what? I tell you what, go, your sins be forgiven. How about that? I mean, talking about vulnerable. He was just out there, you know. So you the Son of God, you the Christ. You said that. You said that. Obviously, you see that. So you're saying he was absolutely the example of how important it was that he be vulnerable. This man was going to go to the cross. He was already carrying the weight of our sin. He was not going to carry the weight of our drama. Good God Almighty. Did y'all hear what I just said? He was already carrying the weight of our sin. He was not going to carry the weight of our drama. And look, your opinion does not matter. Matter of fact, if I go by your opinion, I probably wouldn't die for you. If Christ had gone by our opinions, he would never have died for us. He had to get beyond our opinions and be vulnerable enough to say, yes, I'm the Son of God, but I'm going to give my life. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Are y'all catching that? Man, I hope y'all spread this out because, wow. So, and I said, this whole vulnerability thing, and thank you all that are chiming in. Y'all got questions or something? Don't be afraid to ask him. I'm coming at you. I'm going to help you. It is about a good day or change. Yeah, you know what? Yeah. Okay, y'all like that. He was already the weight of our sin. He's not taking on our drama. Yeah, he's not going to carry our drama too. I got your sin. I can't carry your sin. I can't carry your sin and your drama. It's too much. So I got to be free. I got to be free to die. I got to be free to serve. Come on, pastors, apostles, bishops, teachers, preachers, professionals, doctors, lawyers. I gotta survive. I've got to be clear-headed enough to do neurosurgery, to operate on your head, to be a cardiologist. I can't cut you open and deal with your heart and give you surgery if I also got to carry the weight and burden of my own vulnerability because you couldn't take it. I can't counsel you. I can't preach to you. I can't even be a good parent if I can't be vulnerable. I got to have a place where I'm vulnerable because, it's got psychological ramifications. I got to be free. And my vulnerability is a part of my freedom. My vulnerability is a part of my freedom. I know you're going to have an opinion about it. I know it's risky because you could take it and try to kill me. But I would rather be free and fight for life than to be bound and being crucified in private. I need to kind of deal with this thing in a different way. I just said something really, really big. You have to go back and get the recording because that's crazy. I'd rather be free, and deal with you and run the risk of you killing me than to not tell you the truth and be trapped in the own prison of my own self-crucifixion. So I don't want to do that. So social benefits. Vulnerability is a part of my freedom. Yeah, absolutely, Elder McLean. Vulnerability is a part of my freedom. Here's some of the social benefits. It helps to build deeper and more meaningful relationships because being vulnerable actually fosters trust and authenticity. Being vulnerable helps to foster, enhance, or promote my trust and authenticity. So being vulnerable fosters trust and authenticity. So this helps me build better relationships. Now my relationships are built upon trust and being authentic, being my authentic self, and trusting you to handle my authentic self. So we can be in a quality relationship. Have you ever been in a relationship? And so now you're in this relationship that's built upon hidden walls, innuendos, and a lack of authentic nature. You're building a relationship that's built upon hidden walls, lack of authenticity, and minimal trust or portioned trust, partial trust. And that's not a healthy relationship. That's not a deep, meaningful relationship. When you're trying to build a deep, meaningful relationship. Come here, y'all. Come here. Please don't miss this. When you're trying to build a deep and meaningful relationship, you got to be able to be authentic, and you got to be able to have total trust. And when you can't foster a healthy trust relationship, and you got to be something other than your authentic self, and you're in a relationship, you're building something based upon hidden walls, and it's not going to last. It's not going to last because you don't get to be you. Stuff you want to laugh at, you don't get to laugh because that person can't handle you laughing at that thing. You need to laugh. If it's funny to you, laugh. If you got a comment, you got to be able to say that comment. Say it open, brash, without a whole lot of thought and process, but just be able to say it. Be your authentic self. And the person around you be able to handle your vulnerability, your openness, your courage, your strength, and not see it as so. It's important. It encourages, from a social aspect, being vulnerable encourages open communication, and genuine connection. Being vulnerable helps to build and foster open communication and genuine connection. Hope y'all catching that. Hope y'all catching that because the rain has definitely started here, and I know it's going to be interfering with some of the signal, but God is keeping us. All right, so being vulnerable, it helps to really open up communication. It really open there. Thank you, Apostle Mitchell. You can open communication and establish a more genuine connection. We really connect. You ever had anybody you really could just be really vulnerable around? It's the most liberating. It's the most liberating thing. You have the most fun. You live your greatest truth. You're the clearest you are in thought pattern. You're the best you are in blood pressure, all of that, because you're able to have this tremendous open communication, to be genuine about your connection, about your feelings, about where you are and where you're not. It's an amazing place. And if you find that kind of environment, man, talk about being socially benefited. You know, oftentimes in church, we practice wearing masks. We practice not being our authentic self because people can't handle us. People can't handle us being our real self. We feel like people can't handle my real truth. And we're so concerned about it that we forfeit being vulnerable. Yeah, we forfeit it. Can I help you today? Don't forfeit being vulnerable. Don't forfeit being vulnerable for somebody else's peace of mind. Don't forfeit being vulnerable for somebody else's peace of mind. It's a problem. It's a problem. And you got to get past that problem. You got to say, hey, I need you to handle this. I need you to handle this. I actually had a time. I had a time in my life when I was dealing with something. And honestly, the question was, well, who do you go to for counsel? And I thought to myself, and I said, man, I don't know if there's anybody that can handle all of my openness. I've had people, and let me say this to you all. Okay, here it is. Y'all ready for this? Pastors give their heart. They really do. Pastors give their heart. They give their soul. They really, because they care. It's a ministry of care, and they care. So because they care, often when people leave the ministry that you cared about, we don't really give our true sentiments about it. We aren't really vulnerable about your departure. I've had people leave me who, and I say it that way, because some people shifted because of the need to do that, whether it be the next part of ministry, whether it be they moved or whatever. But I'm talking about some people just leave you because they say you're not enough, or they say, I'm not getting enough teaching, or whatever the reason is. They done fell out with somebody in the church, and more often than not, that's the case. They done had a problem, issue with somebody in the church, and it's falling back on the pastor by you leaving the church, because now the church is devoid your gifting, your relevance, your impact, and your presence, your koinonia. We're absent that because you couldn't navigate something. And from a vulnerable standpoint, it hurts. It hurts. And we don't often say that. We don't say it because we don't want you to feel, like obligated to stay because we're hurt. Well, you don't have to stay, but you still need to know this creates a moment of hurt for me. This is a difficult time by you, especially if it was, the Bible said it was you, my brother. If it was a stranger, it'd be different. But when somebody that has become family sees a need to leave you, there is a hurt there. There is a damage. There's a truth to that. Man, somebody please help me. Where you at, leaders? Where you at, pastors? Come on, pastors, apostles, talk to me. Don't leave me out there like this. Come on, y'all know I'm telling. Thank you, Apostle Bellard. It hurts, even if I understand why. Thank you, Dr. Dixon. Thank you. Yeah, I mean, I get it. I get your why. And I may even go, okay, I'm cool with your why. It does not remove the hurt or the challenge or, the void or the feeling of inadequacy or could I have done something different? It has me reassessing myself. And it ain't got nothing to do with me. You and Brother Lightbulb couldn't get along. You and Sister Lightbulb just couldn't work together. And it caused so much friction between y'all that now you got to leave the ministry. However, when you leave, it ain't hurting Brother Lightbulb or Sister Doodad. It really hurts the leader who has poured out so much in, they've invested. A good leader doesn't invest in just your being there. A good leader, they want you to tithe, but they only want you to tithe so that we can obey the Bible, so we can take care of God's house, so as a priest they can be covered. They are about building you. A real leader is about seeing you be the best you, to see you be the best kingdom gift, to see you to be the best fivefold ministry gift, to see you be the best husband, the best wife, the best mother, the best father, the best child, the best business owner. A real leader is invested in all of that. And when you depart, we're stuck with not being able to be vulnerable because we don't want you to feel like, you got to stay for us. But the truth is, you don't have to stay for us, but you do need to know this puts me at a pause as a leader because now I got to deal with my emotions about who you were and how important you were. Then I got to deal with the loss factor of me not having our fellowship anymore. Then I have to deal with the loss factor of what did you do in my ministry? Is there a void now? Do I have to retrain? All of these things are a part of it. And it is a real place of hurt. It's a real place of disappointment. It's a real place of challenge. And that vulnerability is absolutely essential to the health and welfare of leadership. Come here, pastors, bishops, apostles, leaders. Come here. Come here. Brothers and sisters, tribe leaders, elders, come here. This is something you got to navigate your vulnerability. Dr. Dixon, we got to be able. We got to be able to be vulnerable. Apostle Mitchell, we got to be able to be vulnerable. Apostle Bellard, we got to be able. We got to be able. Pastor Tammy, we got to be able to say, how you doing? Well, right now, honestly, I'm grateful to God that I'm here, but man, right now my emotions are all over the place because Deacon Shine So Bright just told me, gave me his resignation. Deacon Shine So Bright has now just removed the sunshine, removed his light from our ministry. And I'm trying to reckon with what? Because Deacon Shine So Much was my guy. He was the one actually doing the work of a deacon. He was the one who made my load lighter. I loved him. I love him. I love him. I love his family. I love them. And this piece of paper saying he's resigned does not erase that love. It does not change my dependence. It does not change my heart about it. It's just a piece of paper. And that paper I've got to reckon with and be vulnerable enough so I don't let that paper cause me to cut somebody else. Bless you, Apostle Presley. God bless you. That's incredible. We have to about to be vulnerable in a safe, trusted place where these things occur. Yeah, is it safe out here? Can I be vulnerable? We got to have somebody, and I hope you do. I hope you have somebody, some leader, something that you can just come and say, hey, you're right. Everybody can't handle it. Everybody can handle it because you're not a whiner. It's not like you're weak. Remember, vulnerability is not weakness. It's courage. It takes courage and strength to be vulnerable. I think the devil wants us to think it's a sign of weakness. Don't be vulnerable in front of the people. Let's be vulnerable. Don't be vulnerable in front of your employees. Don't be vulnerable before your wife. Don't be vulnerable before your children. They're saying don't be vulnerable. Why? Because the children need to see that you got this. Your wife needs to know everything is in check. The church needs to know we good. The boss, the employees need to know the company is in good shape. Yeah, all of that's true. But the company is not in good shape if the boss is fragile. The church is not in good shape if the pastor is not healthy. The house is not in good shape if the parents are unstable. You got to get the child is not secure if they don't see an openness of communication in their home. I have nowhere to tell all this. So you got child suicide, you got kids doing all kinds of crazy stuff, and that's a part of it. Excuse me, that's a part of it. And I've been there. I've been there, you all. I've been there. I've been there recently, but the difference is I'm walking my vulnerability out different. I'm walking my vulnerability. Is it safe out here? Yeah, it's safe. Oh, I'm telling y'all, the topic is vulnerability. Is it safe out here? My answer is yes, it's safe. Why? Because if I don't become vulnerable, it's going to become a homegoing service. If I don't practice mastering my vulnerability and the wisdom of how and when to do it, it's going to turn into a homegoing service. And I don't want that. I'm going home when I'm supposed to go home, not ahead of schedule, not if I can help it. I'm not. Is it safe out here? Yes, I'm declaring it safe. Why? Because I need it for my health. I need it to be safe so I can be healthy. So therefore, I'm going to declare it a healthy, safe place. Don't tell yourself I need a safe environment. Make the environment safe. Whoa, please come in. I need to park right there. Don't let the enemy paint the picture that you need somewhere safe, because you may not be able to readily see that safe place. Make that safe place in existence. Make your climate that safe place. You don't get to be around me if you can't handle me. If you can't handle me being out there, this is the church for you. If you can't handle me being out there, I'm not the husband for you. If you can't handle me being out there, I'm not the boss for you, because I need to be able to speak my truth. I need to be able to deal with my feelings. I need to be able to be vulnerable and still be in charge. I need to be able to be vulnerable and still be the boss. I need to be able to be vulnerable and still be the husband. I need to be vulnerable and still be the pastor. I need to be able to be vulnerable and still be a judge sitting on this bench, a police officer in the street, a doctor in the operating room. I need to be able to be vulnerable so I can be all those other things with balance, with clarity, and with impactful resilience, because I am vulnerable. Are y'all hearing me? Woo! All right, all right, all right, all right. Thank you. Yes, I got y'all. Everybody can't handle leadership vulnerability. Yes, Apostle, the enemy would create the thought because of a title. We can't have vulnerable moments. And that's why so many leaders aren't internally healthy. You got it. So many leaders aren't internally healthy. Today, I'm going to say something brash. Today, I'm going to say something really hard. Are y'all ready? Stop letting people kill you. Stop letting your outcome be internally unhealthy. I'm not giving you the right or the authority or the control to dictate or determine my state of internal health. I am not giving you the right, the authority, or any of that to dictate my right to being internally healthy. I'm deciding I'm going to be healthy. If that means I'm not the boss, I'm not the husband, I'm not the pastor, I'm not the judge, and I'm not the doctor for you, then so be it. Find a doctor that has my skill set or better who can do that. Find a pastor who can meet you where you are, and maybe you can let them be vulnerable. Find a husband, another man who you can handle hiding his feelings all the time. I'm not that guy. I'm not that guy. There's this, I've been telling this story recently about this woman, this man. They were together. They had been together a long time. They were good, but he was kind of shady, and he did something wrong and got caught, and so he's in court. And here they are, been together a long time. They are really close. He did some shady stuff, got caught, and now they got him in court. And she's sitting there behind him, and she's praying, and she's looking at him. And the judge is looking at what he did, and the judge says, "Okay, I've reached my verdict." The judge said, "I found you guilty. You did what you did, and it was wrong. And I'm going to sentence you to 60 years to life, and without the parole. And they're stunned in the courtroom. They are stunned. And she's sitting behind him, and he stands up, and they put the cuffs on him. And she gets up and walks out. On her way out, he turns and says to her, "Baby, are you going to leave me also?" And she responded to him, "Oh, no, I'm not leaving you. The judge just broke us up." The judge just broke us up. Because her point was, something has happened beyond me that broke us up. That's how I feel about being vulnerable. If you got to walk out of my life in order for me to be vulnerable, vulnerability just broke us up. Because I'm going to be vulnerable. Because I need to be. And the Lord will give me wisdom how far to go with my vulnerability. But I need to be vulnerable. And some people, you need to say, "Oh, my vulnerability broke us up." Got you. No problem. Because I am going to be vulnerable, even if that means you being gone. Now, I'm not telling you go out and divorce your husband. Don't do that. I ain't telling you divorce your wife. I ain't telling you quit your job. I ain't telling you leave your church. I'm saying if people around you cannot handle you being vulnerable, then as a leader, you're in jeopardy. As a husband, you're in jeopardy. As a wife, you're in jeopardy. As a boss, you're in jeopardy. Watch this. As a friend, you are in jeopardy. You're in jeopardy. And you can't live with that kind of jeopardy. So it does have psychological, it has social impact. But look, there's some really, really clear benefits to this being vulnerable. Clear. Is it safe out here or what? Is it safe? Yeah, it's safe because there's some tremendous benefits to being vulnerable. Bless you, Gregory Bryant. That's good. People will build you up to destroy you. Be honest with yourself, and you'll still be the leader. Yes, honesty, free yourself, and walk in transparency. Remember I said that earlier. Vulnerability is about freedom. So in the words of Fantasia, free yourself. Vulnerability is about freedom. And in the words of Fantasia, Pastor Fantasia said, free yourself. All right, so here's some of the benefits. I'm going to get into some of these benefits, then I'm going to let y'all go. Some of the benefits are, number one, you get to be increasingly emotionally resilient. It increases your emotional resilience. Being vulnerable increases your emotional resilience. Write that down. That's number one. It increases your emotional resilience, which means it lets you face your fears, your emotions. It brings you head on with your strengths, your emotional fortitude. It allows individuals to recover quicker from setbacks. So that's one of the benefits, increasing emotional resilience. You can come back quicker from a setback. All right. Number two, vulnerability fosters trust and authenticity. Vulnerability will foster your trust and your authenticity. Number three, vulnerability will help you encourages a personal growth. When you're vulnerable, it helps you to grow personally. Accepting and acknowledging your vulnerabilities is a step towards self-improvement. Acknowledging and accepting your vulnerabilities is a major step towards self-improvement. So it encourages your personal growth. It promotes a mindset of continuous learning and development. And see, that's all part about your personal growth. You get to personally develop. You get to consciously, personally develop in your mind because it helps what? It helps you to personally grow. All right, number four is it helps develop a mindset. Number four is you got to develop a mind. Let me say that. You got to develop a mindset. I got to break this off because I think this is something else. Yeah, let me stop with that. Let me give you I'll give you those three benefits, then I'm going to shift. I'll say them again. Number one, the first benefit is it increases your emotional resilience. Number two is it'll foster trust and authenticity. And number three is it encourages your personal growth. All right, so I'm going to stop there with that. Now I want to get into this next thing. And I got to go, but I'm going to get into this next thing. When you're developing a mindset to embrace vulnerability, how do I go about that? How do I develop a mindset to embrace vulnerability? Because I want to be more vulnerable. I want to be more. Somebody on here is saying, Apostle, you're helping me. I want to become more vulnerable. I want to be. I want to be a better person in my vulnerability. How do I develop that? Well, when you practice, first off, practice, practice vulnerability. Start small. Share minor feelings and fears with somebody you trust. Just start sharing your minor feelings and fears, and then gradually build up to a more significant disclosure. Um, as your comfort eases. So I would say practice vulnerability. So that means, and this is how you develop it. This is how you develop a mindset of being vulnerable. You intentionally practice it by doing small things, by revealing small fears and feelings, just doing it in bites and pieces. That's number one. Number two, when you talk about developing your vulnerability, um, look for support, seek support. Surround yourself with supportive and understanding individuals. There is a group you can start with. There's a group that you trust. There's a group that you know. There's a group that you feel comfortable around. Kind of start with that group. Start with that group. That way you practice opening up. And you get around people who understand you and who desire to understand you. Start with them. And then share your journey with friends and family or even a therapist. Even a therapist. Just start sharing your journey with people. That helps you develop a mindset towards being vulnerable. Share your mind. And that's the support I'm talking about. When I talk about seeking support, that's what I'm talking about. So the first thing you need to do is practice vulnerability. Second thing is you look for support. The third thing is you embrace being discomforted. Embrace discomfort. This is a big one, and this is strange, but I need you to hear it. This is a big one. When you talk about developing a mindset for being vulnerable, you got to learn how to embrace discomfort. Accept the fact that vulnerability can feel uncomfortable and that the discomfort is a part of the growth. I'm not talking about other people now. I'm talking about you. Being honest with yourself, confronting your feelings, it's an uncomfortable place. It's because you may learn something about you just really didn't want to come to grips with. But you learn about yourself. Um, you become at ease with the discomfort of telling yourself you're not good. You're not okay with this. Um, it was wrong. You're okay. You're okay to feel like you're feeling. You're okay to feel that loss. You're okay, Pastor. You're okay to feel that hurt. Mother, you're okay to feel that sense of abandonment, 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 abandonment. Father or husband, you're okay. It's okay to feel like, man, I feel like I'm inadequate with this. It's okay to feel that. Go ahead and feel it. Go ahead and feel it and say it, and then you can move from it. Then you can build from it. Um, Refrain from discomfort being used as a sign of wrong, but rather see it as a sign of progress rather than a setback. Reframe how discomfort turns out to you. See discomfort as a sign of progress. I'm uncomfortable talking about this, but I'm talking about it. I'm uncomfortable dealing with this, but I'm dealing with it. That's what I mean by that. And I'm going to stop here. The last thing I'm going to say is learn from your experiences. Learn from your experiences. This is developing the mindset. Learn from your experiences because that's important. As you can learn from your experiences, you won't be trapped in yesterday. You'll realize that happened. It wasn't really ideal, but I'm good. I handled it. I got it. Be vulnerable. I didn't get the outcome that I wanted, but by me being open and vulnerable, I can change even the effect of those outcomes. Look for patterns that identify lessons that can guide you into the future. Look for patterns that become future steps you can take that will help you in a vulnerable position. This is really great, y'all. This has been crazy good, crazy good. We talked about, just as a point of recap, we talked about the introduction into vulnerability, what it means and how it plans out, how it spells out, what that vulnerability being, that confidence and strength. We went over Brene Brown's comment and quote, which I think is amazing. You need to go back and check that out. We also talked about the importance of vulnerability And I gave you three things that dealt with the importance of vulnerability, psychological benefits, social benefits, and benefits, psychological benefits, social benefits, and personal benefits. Um, and we talked about being vulnerable has the benefit of building a deeper life, building a deeper relationship in your life. We talked about it increasing emotional resilience. We talked about it factoring trust and authenticity, or fostering trust and authenticity. We did those things. We dealt with how do we develop a mindset. We practice vulnerability. We look for support. We seek support. We embrace discomfort. And we turn our learning into experiences. So that's my vulnerability piece. Listen, vulnerability, is it safe out here? Yeah, it is. It is. It starts by being honest, deal wholeheartedly with your feelings, set boundaries, accept your flaws. You're yet human, leaders. Try not to misjudge others. Thank you, Gregory Bryant. God bless you, Bishop Gregory Bryant. I owe you a visit, sir. Um, it's just an amazing thing. It's an amazing thing. Take the time to look at your own vulnerability and decide, I'm worth it. Put the value on you about your vulnerability. It is risky. It's risky because somebody can take your vulnerability and turn it into a bad situation for you. But I remind you of scripture, he that dwelleth in the secret place of the Most High God shall abide under the shadow of his Almighty, or the shadow of the Almighty. The concept being, if you're vulnerable, being in the secret place makes the secret place a safe place. So when you're in the secret place, you're in a safe place and you can be vulnerable. God's got you. God's got you. Listen, I want you to know I love you to life. I love you to life. I hope this has helped somebody. Did this help you? Was this helpful? Was this good? Let me hear from you right now. Was this helpful? Was this good? I'm telling you, my attempt and my energy was to be practical enough that I could really say to somebody, this is what you need to do. This how it works. And I'm hoping that somebody was you. I'm hoping it helped you. I'm hoping it strengthened you. Hoping it guided you. Thank you. Thank you so much, Apostle Bryant. Thank you for saying it is helpful. This was helpful to you. I am so grateful to the Lord. I want to really help more than I do anything. More than I want to impress, more than I want to just be able to help people. And I believe this kind of language, this kind of communication, this kind of education is helpful. I'm constantly teaching, and I've got a quorum of professors that are helping me go forth. September is going to be an amazing month in our School of Theology. September is going to be an amazing month in our School of Theology. I have a School of Theology which is called Word World Harvest School of Theology. And in that school, I really help people who want to become increased in their learning, people who understand that learning is an ongoing process, it's a lifelong journey. So the School of Theology helps you with that. In September, we launch our digital campus. Our opening course with Dr. Luter is going to be Hellenism and the Birth of the New Testament Church. Hellenism and the Birth of the New Testament Church. So it's a very serious college, as you can see. We're not just dealing with arbitrary stuff. Hellenism and the Birth of the New Testament Church. That's coming up September in Word World Harvest School of Theology. I need you to register right now. Register for the School of Theology. School of Theology is a digital campus. It's got amazing professors. Dr. Luter, Dr. Stratford, Dr. out of Cornell University, Dr. Spence. As a matter of fact, in August, I'm going to be doing my highlight teaching, talking about apostolicity. So I'm teaching on apostolicity. So let's get in. You can sign up today, register. You can do it course by course. Course by course, it's $79 a course. You get in the course. It's a digital campus. You'll be able to zoom in, get what you need, get your teaching, look at the videos, get the video learning. Also, throughout the month, there's going to be some exposure directly with the professor, and having a webinar with the professor, and making sure you get what you need. You got home assignments. You're going to have a curriculum. It's a great, great, great school. You want to be a part, and it's not expensive. If you want to take that first course, register right now. Matter of fact, if you sign up and register, I'll make you this promise, okay? If you register by what is today? What is today's date? The 6th. If you register by August 10th, they'll take 10% off. If you register by August 10th, they'll take 10% off. If you call the School of Theology, it's right there, 844-499-4768. If you call the School of Theology, if you call that, you also can inbox Kathleen Moore directly. You can also inbox Kathleen Kim Moore. You see her already on the timeline. You can inbox her, either one, to register. That is our registrar. Pastor Kathleen Moore is the registrar for Word World Harvest School of Theology. You need to register today. Get in on the September highlight. Get in on the September highlight. Real good. It's a big deal. $79. You want to get in there, get your discount, sign up. You're going to get a link to come into the college, and it's going to be great learning. That's Dr. Andy Luter, who is major in the field of church history and government and control. So you don't want to miss that. Look, if you want to worship with us, you can meet me every Sunday at 2403 Leadenham Street, constantly downloading an incredible, vibrant, on-time, relevant word and the operation of the gifts of the Spirit. Lady Susan Spencer and I, Pastor Brian Crenshaw, all of the staff are designed by word and deed to help you. We evangelize, we educate, and we empower at We Church. At We Church, we evangelize, we educate, and we empower, and we're only better because of you. So I want you to make sure that you take the time to visit me. If you don't have my latest book, I'm an author. I've written about 5 or 6 books, and I want you to get them. Groomed for Destiny was my first book. It was my #1 bestseller. You can go online again and get that. You also can sign up on one of the inboxes and get the response. Kathleen Moore, Denise Baker, either one of those by inbox can get you the book. ApostleSpence.org. ApostleSpence.com. Ooh, about to mess up. ApostleSpence.com is the website. You go on my website, you'll see it. And if not, you can definitely do it online with Denise Baker or Kathleen Moore. You just can't afford to miss it. This is a great piece of literature. The Preacher's Clinic, Harnessing the Pulpit. The Preacher's Clinic, Harnessing the Power of the Pulpit. It's amazing. It's talking about everything from digital pulpits to physical pulpits, to those who do seminars, to those who teach with their job, doing presentations with your job. It helps you in every way. So you must get that. It's a big deal. I am going to be doing on October 12th, and there's not a flyer for this, but on October 12th, those who are in the Episcopal or desire to be in the Episcopal, I'm going to be doing an Episcopal conclave. It's a catechism workshop, October the 12th, a catechism workshop. We're working on the release of that flyer right now. Inbox me if you're interested. Inbox me if you're interested in the Episcopal catechism workshop, the Episcopal conclave on October the 12th. October the 12th. It's going to be from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. You can't afford to miss it. I want you to be a part. So if you're interested, inbox me and I'll let you know. Listen, if nobody's told you today, let me be the one to tell you right now. I want to be the one to tell you, hey, listen, I love you. I love you. You can't afford for me not to love you because I love you so much I won't stop. I love you to life. If nobody's told you, I absolutely love you. I'm scheduled to be at the Homecoming Revival. I don't think it's canceled. I know we're going to have weather, but I think that's going to be far enough inland where it won't matter. We're going to be in Farmville, Virginia on Wednesday and Thursday. Wednesday and Thursday of this week, starting tomorrow night. I've got a word out of Zion, a word straight from the courthouse of God, and I don't want you to miss it. Meet me on Jamestown Road in Farmville, Virginia, 237 Jamestown Road in Farmville, Virginia, Union Outreach Fellowship Church, a tremendous church, a tremendous gathering. Bishop Milton Crenshaw, Overseer Solange Crenshaw, major kingdom leaders, and they got a great church. I need you there. Everybody be there. I'm preaching. Bishop Robinson preached. Bishop Edwards is preaching. It's going to be incredible. You can't miss it. Wednesday and Thursday, I'll be preaching. If you miss Bishop Robinson on Sunday night, I'm there on Wednesday and Thursday. And then Friday, Bishop Edwards is going to bring us on home. I'm looking forward to you being in the midst. Tell a friend. It's about 40 minutes down from Richmond. You can't afford to, or up from Richmond. You can't afford to miss it. It's going to be incredible. It is homecoming. It is an outpouring of the Holy Spirit. Meet me for this apostolic outpouring, this download of God, this pouring out of the Holy Spirit. It's going to be amazing and a prophetic download. You can't afford to miss it. Well, I love you to life. I'm out of time, but not out of word. Nobody can stop me from loving you. Father, keep them, bless them, make your face to shine upon them, lift up the light of your countenance unto them, and give them peace. It is in Jesus' name I pray. Amen. Thank you all. Thank you, Shanae, for sharing your heart and your love. Others will be putting up hearts, and when they do, it simply means they love you and that they want you to receive the embrace of their love for today. It is so important. Thank you all for tuning in. Thank you, Apostle Hardy. Thank you, Apostle Bellard, Apostle Mitchell, those who are on, Apostle Bishop Overseer Crenshaw, those who are just senior leaders, Apostle Tanya Mitchell, Dr. Priscilla, those who just committed themselves to senior leadership. Thank you for taking some time out and doing this with us. Kathleen, I thank you for your love. Thank you for your love. Yeah, those who, somebody asked me earlier about that. If you want to give, you don't have to wait till Thursday. You can give my, if this, especially if this bless you. This is one of those courses, I kid you not. The dean was getting on me. He said, you're giving this stuff away for free. They should be, man, people should be paying for this kind of thing. I don't know about paying, but if you decide to seed, treat me to lunch, whatever, cup of coffee, $ JL, Dr. JL Spence #1. $ Dr. JL Spence 1. And I honor you for that. Everybody who gives, I know you don't have to give. It's a wonderful thing and a blessing. It's just nice to be nice. I love you all to life. Have a phenomenal day. Have a phenomenal, phenomenal day. And I'll see you on Thursday. TNT with Dr. Spence through the summer. Be blessed. Shalom.